G'day guys and welcome back to Ados the Great YouTube channel. So guys, in today's video I'm here to talk about round 2 of the NRL and go over every game basically, and I'll talk a little bit about every team. Some teams may get more time than others, so I do apologize if your team doesn't get as much time as some of the other ones. Now obviously I'm married. I work full-time job. I don't have time to watch every single minute of every single game. However, I do try and tune into at least every game during the week, but obviously I can't watch the whole game. So I do go back and watch highlights and stuff like that. But yeah, starting with the first game of the week, obviously being a Rabbitohs fan, I did watch the whole game for this one. And I've got to say, for 65 minutes, I was appalled at how South Sydney played. But before we get into the Rabbitohs, let's have a look at how well Storm played. Now, for the most part, Storm completed very well. However, they did end the game with a 69% completion rate. A few errors at the end of the game did cost them a bit, but yeah, so that they made more tackles. They ran for a hell of a lot less meters than Souths actually ran for 1,916 meters and Storm 1,455. Souths actually had more possession than Melbourne, and that was pretty much the last 15 minutes. Like the Rabbitohs had, I think it was like 92% to 8 in the last 15 minutes. So that's huge. Rabbitohs made 19 errors. Storm made 18, so uncharacteristic for both sides there. I will say I am disappointed with how the Rabbitohs played for the first 65 minutes. It was appalling. We were completing at under 50%. So any team that completes at under 50%, in my opinion, should get flogged by 30 plus. Like we didn't deserve to be in that game. Sorry. My mouth's dry. We didn't deserve to be in that game, but we were. So, yeah, if we look at some of the standout players, Josh King led the way for Melbourne with 51 tackles. Damien Cook for Souths with 53, which is crazy to think because I think Cookie only played like 70 minutes or something like that. 69 minutes. So, yeah, that's a bit of a shock there to see him. Like, he could have finished the game with over 60 tackles. That's crazy to think about. Campbell Graham and Harry Grant led the way in meters gained. Campbell Graham with 169 and Harry Grant with 145. All right, so yeah, other than that, we'll have a look at some of the player stats and yeah, talk about some key moments, I guess. So personally, I think the best player for Storm was probably Harry Grant. He finished the game with 12 runs, 145 meters, and 42 tackles. Like for a dummy half, that is crazy good. Also had 2 try assists. So very, very good performance for Harry Grant. I think from South, personally, off the bench for me was Cameron Murray. He did play practically the whole game, played 72 minutes there, ran for over 130 meters, made 47 tackles. Crazy stats off the bench. You know, when he came on, when we started looking dangerous at, obviously not when he came on, but at points of the game when he was like on, I mean, like, you know, when he was clicking, we started to look pretty dangerous. Him and Siliva Havili actually played really well together. Obviously, you know, Damien Cook's one of my favourite players, and I don't think we should drop him. Obviously not, he is the Australian hooker. He has had a couple of poor games, and attacking wise, we didn't look good until Siliva Havili came on and Cookie went off. But it's going to take time for him to click, and he'll get back in there. He'll be fine. Cody Walker for me was disappointing. Crazy that he did run for over 140 meters. Like that is just insane. But he missed 4 tackles and only made 12. So that's not very good, like tackle percentage. And he also made 3 errors. So bit disappointing there from Cody Walker. We really need him to start clicking. Other than that, though, I'd say probably our if you don't, I don't know, it's hard. Cameron Murray was very good, but for me, I think Campbell Graham was probably our best player the last 2 weeks. Only made 13 tackles, which is a lot less than he made last week. I think he made 27. Ran for 170 meters, 9 tackle breaks. Like, he has just been. I brought out a video earlier on in the year, and you guys should check it out, where I backed my top. No, not top try scorer. What did I? It was the most improved player for each team, and Campbell Graham was mine for Souths, and I think he definitely should get that award at the end of the season. I think obviously there's a long way to go, but I definitely think he should be considered for it. Now, one player for me defensively that was brilliant was Xavier Coates for the Melbourne Storm. Absolutely crazy what he was doing. He was jumping around, but he was putting off Cody Walker. I tell you that right now. Like, he'd jump, he'd do bloody star jumps, and Cody Walker's passes would go every which way. So yeah, defensively, he had some weird tactics, but they worked. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say for the Storm game. It's probably more than I'm going to talk about for most games, as this is the one I watched from the first minute to the 84th minute. Next up, we've got the Panthers and Dragons. Now, I loved the story with Viliami Kikau. I thought that was beautiful that the Panthers got his family to come from Fiji to support him. Like, I just thought that was an amazing moment. So shout out to Penrith for that. Beautiful, beautiful moment. The Dragons, let's start with them. What the hell is happening in 2022? St. George looked like a completely rejuvenized and different team. Ben Hunt was spectacular. Personally, like, I know this is probably going to be a very bold prediction, but personally, or bold take, personally, I think he was their best player. For a halfback, he ran for over 150 metres, made 17 tackles with only one miss, and over 360 kick metres. Brilliant stuff from Ben Hunt. He had a good game last week as well in the win over the Warriors. So the Dragons, I think, will be a tough team to beat. For the Panthers, they played all right, but a little bit uncharacteristic, in my opinion, from the Panthers. I thought the best on ground for them, Kikau, definitely needs an honourable mention. He was very good. 2 tries, 105 metres, 4 tackle breaks, 32 tackles. Brilliant. But for me, it's Isaiah Yeo. 151 metres, 51 post-contact metres, 4 tackle breaks, 43 tackles. He was a man on a mission, and yeah, I thought he was brilliant, as he always is. Moving on to the next game, as I said, like, I watched a lot of this game, but I didn't see probably enough to talk too much about it. Both teams completed all right, 65% to the Dragons, 68% to the Panthers, but like 14 errors to the Dragons, 12 to the Panthers. 12 errors is very uncharacteristic for the Panthers. I thought they were a little bit disappointing for me. I thought the Dragons were brilliant. The Dragons, in my opinion, kind of deserved to win this one. I thought they were the better team, especially in the second half, and I think they were a little bit unlucky with the end result. But shout out to the Panthers for holding on and getting the win there. Next up, we have... Okay, so this one, Roosters and Manly, I did watch most of this game. And have teams figured out Tom Trbojevic? We'll get to that in a minute. But we'll have a quick look over, like, completion rate in this game was brilliant. 73% to 81%. Manly actually had a better completion rate. Roosters had more of the football with 53% possession. You look at this though, like tackle wise, Jack Trbojevic was amazing. 45 tackles to Angus Crichton's 34, but most run meters was Sio Takiaho, who made 238 meters. Brilliant stuff there. Turbo did top Manly with 148, but he just wasn't. I don't know. It's not that he hasn't been himself. I think teams have figured him out now. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe he's carrying some sort of injury and just can't Can't provide what he used to. I don't know. But yeah, Manly look a little bit disappointing. So if we look at best on ground, like Nat Butcher definitely deserves an honourable mention. 2 tries off the bench, 134 metres, 45 post contact metres, 27 tackles. Awesome game from him. Look at the animals there at the back trying to ruin my video. I'll tell you what. Personally, I think you've got to give Suatakiaho the man of the match. I'm not too sure who got it, but I definitely think he deserves it. 238 metres from 23 runs is insane. Also getting 30 tackles, like 92 post contact metres. Very good game for Siwa. Pretty sure I pronounced his name three different ways, but that's fine. Now look, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. I'm going to give an honourable mention here to Daly Cherry Evans. And I know, here we go. Daly Cherry Evans fan, what a wanker. Now, look, I personally think Daly Cherry Evans has been playing good in a bad Manly side. He made 98 metres, 5 tackle breaks for a halfback is insane. 19 tackles, 451 kick metres, 61 fantasy points. Like, he's been consistent these last 2 weeks. Look, I don't know. It's hard. I definitely do think he's been one of their better players, and he normally is. Like, a lot of people like to hate on DCE, but he's not that bad of a player. He's actually quite a good player. So I think it's a bit unfortunate that people like to hate on him, but I guess it is what it is. I can't pronounce this. Can never pronounce his first name. Hamole Olakawatu. Sorry, I'm terrible at pronouncing names. We know that. Olakawatu. Probably stuffed that up. I butchered it. You know what? You know what it's like. I'm an Aussie. I can't do it properly. I can't. I'm terrible. Jordan, my mate, will tell you. All right. So 134 run meters, 64 post contact meters, 10 tackle breaks. Insane. 33 tackles and no errors. So very, very good game for him. Look, I think Manly are in a little bit of trouble. I don't know what direction they're going to head in. They're sitting second last, I believe. They are last. Okay, well, there we go. Manly are currently last. Very disappointing. I thought they would start the season a little bit better than that. I thought we'd see them beat Penrith. I did tip against them this week, but I thought it would be more like a 2-point game rather than a 14-point game. The game that was a 2-point game, though, was the Saturday clash with the Titans and the Warriors. This one I did watch from start to finish. As I was cleaning the room upstairs, I sat back. Well, I didn't sit back, but I had the game on the TV and thought this was quite an entertaining game in the first half. Try scored everywhere. David Fafita was not as impactful as he probably should have been. I thought Bo Furman was really good. Greg Marzu had a brilliant game. Jermaine Joloff off the bench. There was a lot of players that played quite well in this game personally. Philip Sami was good as well. If we go through and look at completion rate, was not bad, 75% to 76%. I thought both teams played pretty well in that aspect. 48% to 52% possession. That went to the Warriors. 12 to 14 errors, like not great, but not bad either. We look at the top performers. Josh Curran with 44 tackles. Tino with 31 tackles. Greg Marzu with 222 run meters. And Reece Walsh with 193. I thought Reece Walsh's first game back was pretty good. I think he'd be proud of the first game back. Set up a try. Obviously ran for over 190 meters as stated before. Put in a fair few kicks, so he took the pressure off the halves there. Speaking of the halves, I thought Ash Taylor was pretty bad. I feel for Ash. He shows a lot of potential, but I don't know. It's hard for me to see him playing first grade, to be honest. He'll be back out of that side, and Sean Johnson will be in with ease when Johnson's right to return. Best player on ground for the Warriors for me was their captain, Adam Fanua-Blake running for over 180 metres, 3 tackle breaks, 22 tackles and a line break. Very good game from him. When they were in trouble, he got them out of trouble. I thought he was brilliant. And my player of the game for the Titans, I've got to give it to the winger, Greg Marzhew. I think he was brilliant. You know, shout out to Bo Firma as well. I thought he was good. But yeah, he's my honourable mention. But Greg Marzhew was brilliant. 220 metres, 11 tackle breaks. That's insane. 2 tries as well. Can't forget that. A player that's been a little bit disappointing for me is Isaac Liu, a premiership winning player for the Roosters. He came over. I thought he'd be a little bit better. But yeah, he did disappoint me a bit there. All right, next up we have the second last of the Saturday night games. And this one I didn't watch a lot of. I saw the end, which was freaking amazing. The Nicho Hynes conversion after literally missing every other kick. Brilliant. But yeah, let's discuss this game. So 4 tries to 2. Clint Gutherson's kicking was pinpoint perfect. If we look at completion rate, Parramatta completed this game at 87% and still went on to lose. They also had 54% of the possession. That is insane. If we look at some player stats, like Dylan Brown, it killed it for them. 185 metres. Tackles was 54 to Blake Brayley, 37 to Isaiah Papali'i, and Connor Tracy ran for 179 metres. Like, Connor Tracy is an underrated player in my opinion. You know, he was with us at Souths. We let him go because we play him in the halves and there wasn't a place for him. Cronulla bought him in, started him off in the halves and then moved him into either on the wing or in the centres, and he's just flourished in their system. So shout out to Connor Tracy, very, very underrated player. Personally, though, my player of the game's got to be Nicho Hynes. Connor Tracy probably gets my honourable mention. He was very good, but Nicho Hynes, 114 metres gained, 21 post-contact metres, 5 tackle breaks, 1 line break, 2 line break assists, 3 offloads, 28 tackles. He was just brilliant. So he gets my player of the game for the Sharkies. For the Eels, it's got to be Mitchell Moses. Now, Mitchell is a bit like Daly Cherry Evans. He gets a lot of flack, but he wears his heart on his sleeve. He plays with pride for Parramatta. He loves Parramatta. And I think people hate on him for no reason. You know, if Parramatta are to succeed, it needs to be off the back of him. And when he's playing well, Parramatta are hard to beat. So that's pretty much all I'm going to cover for that game. The next game, I watched the first half of this. And then my wife and I went off and did our own thing. We watched a movie or something, I can't remember. We did some. Oh no, we did. We watched Red Notice. Very good movie, by the way. So yeah, Cowboys and the Raiders. Now, I believe it was 4-6 or something, or 6 all going into halftime. No, it was 8-6, wasn't it? I think I'm right there. I can't remember. But yeah, it was very close. And then I switched back over just before full time, and Cowboys were up 26-6, and that's how it finished. If we look at completion, Cowboys completed at 76%, Raiders at 56%. That's crazy. Like, you're not going to win a game of NRL if you're completing at 56%. You're just not. Cowboys made 1,700 run meters, Raiders 1,100. 15 errors to the Cowboys 9. Cowboys' discipline in this game was brilliant. Look, you go to my ladder predictor, the latest one, and I say I'd be very surprised if a lot of teams were to beat the Cowboys at home. I think they're going to be very tough to beat at home, and they've proved that in the first 2 weeks. Yes, the Bulldogs did beat them, but it was close. So top performers here 37 tackles to both Reece Robson and Elliott Whitehead, 166 metres gained for Peter Hickey and 130 for Joe Tarpany. Now, I think a player that really stood up for the Cowboys in this game was Jason Taumalolo, and he definitely needed to. My player of the game for the Cowboys, I'd personally say Jason Taumalolo is probably my player of the game. 161 metres, 70 post-contact metres, 2 tackle breaks, 25 tackles. He was brilliant, and I think he needs to continue to be brilliant if the Cowboys want to prove that they're going to be a tough team in 2022. Now, I do think that they could trouble some of those teams, those fringe top 8 teams. I really do. Canberra are a team that I had in the top 8. I thought they were brilliant against Cronulla last week. They definitely fell off this week against the Cowboys. But, I definitely think the Cowboys they're going to threaten some teams. I really do. For the Raiders, I've got to give we'll give Ed an honourable mention, and that's Adam Elliott actually off the bench. Did play 70 minutes, but at the same time, he led the tackle count off the bench with 34. I thought he was really good. I think he's a really good pickup, a very underrated pickup for the Raiders. Then my player of the game is probably going to be Corey Harawira-Naera. 56 minutes, got 48 fantasy points, did only run for 53 metres, but in that he made 5 tackle breaks, a line break, got an offload and scored a try. I think he was the best on ground for the Raiders, especially when predominantly the backs were making the errors. Jack White and Matt Frawley were pretty disappointing with 2 errors each. Jack made 18 tackles with 2 missed tackles. Jack Whiten's a gun of a player, and I do think that he will be a big reason why Canberra have success in 2022. But, was very disappointed with his performance on Saturday night. All right, we will finish it up with today's games, and I did watch both of these from start to finish. Newcastle put on a clinic against the West Tigers. Dane Gagai was amazing. If we look at the stats, 88% completion rate for the Knights, that's what wins you football games. You know, they had 39 completed sets to the Tigers 24. Obviously, they were going to win this one with ease. 1,767 run meters to 1,283. Really good game there for the Knights. Chris Randall led the tackle count with only 29. That is crazy. Jake Simpkin led the Tigers tackle count with 43. Tyson Frizzell was the Knights meter eater with 191, and Jackson Hastings with 200. Now, Hastings for me has been a really good signing for the Tigers. He's really the only player that's, I guess, showing he wants to be there. Him and Luciano Leilua, they've really, they've been trying. 2 of probably the only players that have been trying. I've been disappointed with Luke Brooks. There were some plays where he was just nowhere to be seen. He didn't look like he wanted to be out there. And I think Brooksy needs to either step it up or maybe find another club or head off to the Super League. Off the bench, I thought Leo Thompson was amazing. In a short period of time, 38 minutes, he made 92 metres and 26 tackles. Very good from him. Also making 2 line breaks and 3 offloads. My player of the game in this one, Tyson Frizzell, is definitely an honourable mention. But for me, back-to-back is Dane Gagai. Scored a try, set up Dominic Young on the wing, ran for over 160 metres, 11 tackle breaks for Dane, a line break assist and an offload, 15 tackles, no errors. He was brilliant. And I said it last time and I'll say it again. Adam Reynolds is not our biggest loss. Dane Gagai was. For the West Tigers, they really didn't have too many players that stood up for them. Jackson Hastings probably deserves the man of the match for the Tigers, I guess. He was brilliant. 200 metres, 38 post-contact, 3 tackle breaks, a line break and an offload, 17 tackles. He was brilliant. If you're going to give it to someone else, I guess honourable mention to Luciano Leilua, 108 metres, 47 post-contact metres and 41 tackles. Brilliant from him. I thought defensively he was very good. Um, didn't make any errors either, so that's good. I think going forward, they really need him playing like this and getting that go forward. All right, we're going to quickly go over the last game, guys, because we're nearly at half an hour, and I don't want to take up that much of your time. So the Broncos against the Bulldogs. This was a tough game. 75% completion rate from both teams. Bulldogs did have a 60% possession. Very good game from both sides, in my opinion. Broncos only making 9 errors. Bulldogs making 12. The run meters was crazy. Herbie Farnsworth, 262. Matt Duffy, 203. 35 tackles for Jeremy Marshall-King and 50 for Jordan Ricky. So we'll have a quick look at the player stats and I'll give you my man of the match for both teams. For the Bulldogs, I'm probably going to go a bit left field here and give it to Maxi King off the bench. Now, I can't believe that the Bulldogs acquired this dude. He's brilliant. He is such an underrated player. In 37 minutes, he made 85 metres. 35 of those were post-contact metres. He had 3 offloads, 25 tackles, no missed tackles and no errors. I thought he was definitely up there for the player of the game. And for the Broncos, I thought Adam Reynolds was a little bit disappointing. He did make 25 tackles, though, and kicked for 536 metres. But, yeah, Look, he had a good game. He did have a good game, but I think he needs time to gel with the team. And I think the Broncos are going to be a tough team to beat in 2022. For me, my player of the game, I'm going to have to give it to Herbie Farnsworth. Like 19 runs, 262 metres, 3 tackle breaks, 1 line break. He scored 2 tries. He was brilliant for me. Corey Yates was another one with over 200 metres, but Herbie Farnsworth, I think, definitely deserves the player of the game for the Broncos. All right, guys, we're nearly at the half an hour point, so I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I will give you the game of the round. I think the game of the round for me was either this Broncos Bulldogs game or the Sharkies and Eels. And I did say in my tipping video that I thought the Sharks and Eels could prove to be the game of the round, and I think I hit the nail on the head with that one. I finished the week with 7 tips right. Yeah, 7 tips right. The only game I got wrong was the Cowboys and Raiders. I thought the Raiders would win there. So disappointing for me there. I was so close on 8 out of 8. But yeah, guys, that is going to wrap it up from me. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.